Welcome to the show today. And today on the show, I want to continue with my book. It's chapter 2. And in the book, I gave my Uncle Russell the name Richard. Just like chapter 1, it was Aunt Sarah, but I called her Cara, or Cara, I guess, C-A-R-A. But in the chapter 2 of my book, Marriage, Mind, Funk, and Mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is when you react rationally, logically, respectfully, without losing it. But as a young kid, as when I got upset and things were just too much, I would react not very rationally and not very logically. I would react angrily. I would react in a way that wasn't appropriate. But mindfulness is thinking about it, and that your reaction, if it's equal to their actions or what they did to hurt you or said or did, even if it's unintentional, your reaction should be logical. But chapter 2 of my book is about something that can happen that can affect your family, your nieces, your nephews, your family, your kids, your children, your ex-wife after you get divorced. What you do in your life, what you do can affect others. It can cause them. Now, I don't know, because Uncle Russell had 8 other sisters and brothers, what the birth order was. I know he wasn't the first child because my mom was, of the 9. My grandma actually had twins and one didn't make it. So she had Luke and Luther. And I think, honest, I'm not kidding, I think it was Luke that died and Luther, because Uncle Luther. But he's not in the book. He was also a drinker who drank way too much and ended up divorced from his wife, Eva. And their 2 kids suffered for that. But I'm going with Uncle Russell for chapter 2 because that's what's in the book. Marriage, mind, funk, and mindfulness. And though I am so messed up in the head, I think people end up always cheating on their spouse or divorced or separated, or horrible things happen in life. And that's why I became the green jealousy monster that I was from age 30 till 59 when I found out about things on YouTube, on here, that helped me. Sam Vaknin and Richard Grannon and Dr. Romani and things like that. Lisa and Ross Rosenberg. Lisa, she's an Italian lady. Am I allowed to say that she's Italian? I hope so. Anyway, yeah, found out about things that can go wrong and how the birth order is important and what your parents, what they're doing at the time, what kind of life they're leading, what kind of finances they have and bills, and what kind of money and money to spend, and what's going on in their lives. Like, I think after Grandma lost one of her babies, she might have been a little crazy. Who wouldn't be? My mom, after she lost 2, then she had me and Ann first, then me last. She might have been a little crazy and working her rear off to pay the bills. So Uncle Russell became a drinker, and I know that Uncle Albert moved to California. I don't have him in the book, but he married a nice Catholic lady. She's been gone too. Uncle Albert's gone too. He was in the police force out there. Whether he became the chief of police out in Oregon, I'm not sure. But that's where my cousin Karen lives, in Oregon. I don't think she likes me too much because I just spoke the truth about stuff that upset me with Uncle Fred. But anyway, Uncle Russell, I don't know why Uncle Albert, I guess for his job out there, and then Aunt Peg and Uncle Fred moved to California, just south of Oregon, the border, because they would be doing things together a lot. But Uncle Russell started drinking way too much. And that's one thing, being addicted to drinking, having being an addict with drinking. And I think it was in the family before. Like I said before, I'm a food addict. I turn to food for comfort. And I think with the family of 9, my mom being the oldest and my Aunt Alma's the youngest, I don't have her in the book. There's so many things with family you could add. I could have wrote maybe 15 more chapters. But Aunt Alma married Uncle Frank, who was definitely very cruel. He was mean, he cursed, and treated her like crap. But anyway, Uncle Russell, very loving man, my Uncle Russell, very kind to us in his old age. He would go hunting and he'd get venison and he'd make us chili out of venison, and he was a wonderful man. But his drinking, he drank I don't know if he gave that up till he was old. He was pretty old when he passed away. And his wife by common law, Mary, was a wonderful lady. But his first wife, Irene, they got married and they'd visit sometimes, but then something happened. They got divorced, and then my four cousins would come and see us sometimes. Ronald, Judy, Bruce, and Candy. Candace, I guess her real name is Candy, we call her. But Bruce just passed away yesterday, so God rest his soul. He was a great man, a great person. I had my share of arguments, and my dad was a very aggressive person. Instead of being assertive, he was aggressive. He'd go from being this mild mannered guy to screaming, yelling, and throwing stuff around. Just like when I asked my dad, what does old effer mean? When my two older sisters, Thelma and Nancy, said he's an old effer. And they said I was a tattletale, but all I wanted to know was, what does the word effer mean? You know the word. So Uncle Russell was a drinker, and here's what happened to him that affected me when I found out about it. And I was so dumbfounded and distraught that that happened to him, and that he actually had an affair with someone else in the family. I don't know if it was his wife's sister or a cousin or a friend of hers, but he ended up having a son named Joey. And when I found out this, I was like, what? And it bothered me. And that someone you looked up to and thought was a wonderful person, then you found out that that happened, and that he was divorced and his kids had to do without him. Although as they got older, they got along with him well, and his by law marriage, common law, because after 7 years in Pennsylvania, that was the law then, but that's probably changed now because lawlessness is the way. Anything goes is the way. You do whatever you want. It's not true though, because this hurt a lot of people. And his kids were without their dad, and he'd bring them out to visit us. And cousins are cousins. We love our cousins. But it really, 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 really sucked. And it stank that that happened, that he did that. And had a son that he never really, that I know of, acknowledged, maybe later in life. And that person suffered too, Joey. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, that you just keep singing, dancing, making music, and having fun as much as possible.